Another episode of Venture Maidens. It's been about a month since we actually played main campaign, so I'm really excited to kind of, I don't know, this is like our last recording of this year, though, so 2019. How do we all
this decade, in fact.
Whoa, okay, how do we all feel about that? Let's go around real quick. Nassim, how do you feel about that?
I feel very excited.
Yeah.
We took a nice, 3 years out of this decade?
3 years.
With Venture Maidens?
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Almost
accomplish
4.
more. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Even longer.
Yep. Sage, how do you feel? Real quick round table.
I feel ecstatic.
Good. Simple. I like it. Brittany, how do you feel?
Incredulous.
Okay, good. I like these one-word answers. Katie, how do you feel?
I feel like I just started.
Word, and that's fair. Yeah. Well, I feel great. I feel super, super excited to be here still. Coming, 2019, 2020, y'all. What a wild number. Remember we were all supposed to die in 2000? Right? My grandma wrote me like a letter, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're all still here. I was ready for the world to end 20 years ago, but fuck, here we still are." And I was like,
That's
"All right."
I was ready for the world to end.
I was like, "Okay, grandma."
Bring it on, man.
But anyway, welcome everybody. Tonight is going to be a super duper special show for you all since we are recording a double feature. That means 3 hours. That means 2 episodes of Venture Maidens we're going to be recording. So we're going to play, for our usual hour and a half, take a little break, and then get a second episode for you. So a lot of stuff is going to get done. So without further ado, Welcome, everybody. Tonight, I'm going to be your dungeon master, Celeste Conowitch.
I'm going to be your moon elf warlock, Arnadel Adil, played by Brittany Quintero.
I am going to be Faelyn, your tiefling sorceress, played by Katie.
And I, Nassim, am your inspired human monk, Saya Noor.
And I am Sage, and I will be your captivating cleric, Cara Brunilda.
Ooh, we're all being so patient with each other this evening. No one's jumping on each other. It's gonna be amazing. Hopefully, we'll turn up that heat for you. But before we do so, what happened 1 month ago on Venture Maidens? Tell me, because I'm sure everyone, yours truly included, needs a refresher.
Well, we had just finished battling to protect Chidi as she summoned the Fae Tree. The Fae Tree was successfully brought into this world, and it was magnificent and beautiful. And it smelled like the perfect summer day of cut grass and had beautiful little fireflies dancing all around it. And we're like, this is a cause for a celebration. So Farah and Cara round up all the villagers back into their village, and we all decided to help them break out into a party.
Yay! Barbecue on the lawn.
Yeah. Giant al fresco.
Yes.
And so
That Farah and Chance got their first kind of date moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredibly awkward for everyone involved.
Chance was fine. I don't know.
It was charming.
Good for him.
he was into it. Yes, and it was wonderful.
And we also figured out, well, it was like finally put out there that the lady who came with Chidi, I can't remember what her fake
Mira.
name was, Mira, was actually the Serena.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we invited her to make breakfast with us, which was like, LOL. So we kind of finally everyone realized or was told, for some of us, that they were the same person, and that she had said that she is a friend in all of the challenges that we shall continue to face, because the problems that face us face the entire continent, and any resources that she has at her disposal we are welcome to use. And we're like, cool, thanks.
Sick.
You're pretty cool, and so is your lion. It reminds me of the pink lion from Steven Universe.
Oh, lion!
I love
Bonus
lion.
points. What was the lion's name?
Orion.
Yes.
The Ryan.
Orion the lion.
The Ryan.
Orion the flying lion. It's fine.
It's fine. And then we gave her a tour around the Elysium Keep,
Mm-hmm.
which was wonderful and awkward. And she was like, well, I gotta go. And we're like, cool, all right, it was great to meet you. And then Cara and Arnadel went to go talk to Rana, because they had told Cara that Rana had wanted to speak to Cara. Cara was very drunk, and she's like, this is gonna be great. This is so great. We're gonna have such a great bonding moment, and I'm gonna inspire him to get out of this prison. And she did not. In fact, she made a complete ass of herself and insulted him right to his face.
Mm-hmm.
Many times. But we did kind of learn some cool things about him, and Rana and Arnadel had a nice sweet moment though.
My bell is named Rana.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, you learned something kind of, and you learned that he took that name too intentionally. So.
Right.
The Destroyer.
Which makes me wonder. Also, he was pretty clear that he still could admit some loyalty to Rem, which is why I think he wants to keep his buns in that cage.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, every time I get involved in something bad happens, and that's why I'm called Rana, because I'm sad and I destroy everything. We're like, okay, my boy.
Yeah, Arnold's like, yeah, you're gonna have to go past that. But yeah, I think it was pretty telling that he wants to help, but still feels like he owes Rem some kind of debt of gratitude or whatever. So that's kind of like an eyebrow raise.
Yeah, well, and he didn't just say for himself. He's like, I feel like a lot of people at the Elysium Keep probably still feel that way about Rem.
Yeah, and we had a kind of a talk about that, about how Valerius was saying the only reason he was there was because of Rem. And so we think there are probably still a lot of people who owe their, or who, vow allegiance to her. And so it's going to make some things
know what?
potentially weird and complicated.
You know what I don't agree about that though? Like if we were consigned or conscripted to the Sisters of Sorrow because Rem was the recruiting officer, just because she took that role doesn't necessarily mean we owe her jack shit, because we were under the we were like deceived into thinking that like it could have been anybody. You know what I mean? Like just because she brought us in doesn't mean that we owe shit to her. Like, I don't know. I thought about that and I was like, wait, you're just like unyielding loyalty to your recruiting officer?
Well, I mean, I think that's definitely kind of true for us, but I know a lot of people had like face this redemption story, and she offered that path to redemption and was like a mentor and had a more hands-on relationship with them probably than we did. She was just kind of like, go here, go that, brr, brr, brr. We're like,
Yeah.
this sucks.
I mean, we definitely bonded with her and shit. Like we each had our own like one-on-one moment, but like that was kind of each of our own character development, self-journeying with the Sisters of Sorrow. We all got to make a choice, and we chose to like do the right thing versus like screw people over and find whatever to our own means, like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, well, girl, if that's your goals.
I do think one benefit on our end is that if we do have to like have an epic battle against Rem, like now that she has that armor, and I don't know if like she can like face pop and hi, I'm Rem again, trust me, but I think that like dehumanitized her a little bit going into that armor, not giving her the face they remember. So I don't know. I think we can turn some
well,
heads.
I don't know. We did interact with her as a wooden marionette and witnessed her trade bodies.
Well,
she soul siphoned herself into somebody else. That was unsettling.
So all of this is super spicy. So I feel like we should probably start the episode now. So this will all actually be included since I got the recaps. So yes, yeah. So I always pretend every episode I'm like, yes, and that's where we're starting. Like we didn't just have a recap on the podcast.
It's all lies.
It's what? Yeah, so that is where we are picking up today. We had just finished that conversation with Rana in the dungeons of the Elysium Keep. And both Cara and Arnadel had brought up several things, including the history of the bell that Arnadel mysteriously received. And Cara had questioned, like, why are you doing this? Why are you staying down here? And the conversation had gotten a little weird about how Rana still, even after everything, owes a great deal of loyalty to Rem, and he's very conflicted, and he impressed upon all of you that a lot of people currently at the Elysium Keep might be a lot more conflicted than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's literally where we're picking up. Cara and Arnadel, you are walking out of the door after having this conversation with Rana.
Yeah, Cara had stormed off in a huff, just stomping towards her room, and is gonna go to bed angry.
Yeah, and so last time we did have a lot of like major decision making happen, so I wanted to kind of go over and remind you all what of my notes of what I had for like goals that we kind of established now that we have this big conflict ahead of us and this mystery and like what we're gonna do. So the main points that I had that y'all wanted to do were still to talk to Chance about the connection to maybe the gods and the Avatar. That whole situation was something you wanted to do. Talking to Aaron about contacting or finding the Checkered Follies, and then also potentially following up with the elves that seemed to know something about Rem and had some kind of connection to Rana. And then the third thing being actually traveling to Faelyn and taking the Sarina up on her offer to get help and access to kind of the best libraries literally in the world. to research more about this avatar and this strange symbol you saw in this wizard's tower. So that's what I have on my notes. So we can do this however y'all want to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can all go to bed and regroup because I think we were all supposed to meet up in one room and that Farah had gotten a pony keg. So I think that she just fell asleep on the pony keg.
Yeah. After the long conversation.
Yeah. Well, they're taking a long time out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we can just start fresh in the morning with pancakes and mimosas, you know.
How we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Anybody want to do anything before heading off to sweet, sweet sleep? Nope. We'll get
Nah,
a snoozle and time passes. No dreams, no weird things happen. It's just sort of a naturally fitful night. I think there's a lot of anxiety going around the keep right now. The atmosphere of tension is pretty high. Everyone's just feeling a little ragged after everything that's happened, and there's a lot flying around, so atmosphere isn't great at the keep right now. Morale is pretty low. So you all wake up in the morning. What are we doing?
I think Farah fell asleep earlier than she usually does, so I think she actually wakes up like early. And she gets up and she's this morning says she's just gonna go over to the kitchens and start making like pancakes with little cat ears and stuff like
Beautiful.
that. Start getting ready for everybody.
That's amazing. Yeah, you can head over like towards the middle sister that has like the bar kitchen sort of area that seems to be like the public kitchen, or you could go to the griddle sister, which has been established as pretty much just the kitchen.
It's a kitchen with panache.
Oh, I go wherever the panache is, sweetheart, so I'm going there.
I don't think we've ever described the inside of the griddle sister, so Katie,
I don't think we have.
Yeah, Katie, you are deciding as the third party here. What does the griddle sister look like on the inside?
Oh my God. Okay. I think that it's like an all booth situation, like, you know, no choice chair booth. It's all booths. I think that it's like, it's got a bunch of like signs on the wall that are like hand painted and made that like say like weird things like last stop for burgers and like shit like
random diner signs.
Yeah, diner signs.
Like drive in, and it's like pointing at the chair, and you're like,
yeah, it says drive in, but there's like a horse-drawn carriage on the sign. Yep. And yeah, it's just like it's very comfortable, but quirky. It's one of those places with all the mismatched plates that all seem to go together anyway.
Cute.
You know,
I love it. Very Pinterest.
It's cozy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So you are making cat-shaped pancakes. What's everyone else doing?
Cara would go and find and Cara's still in the doghouse and wants to go and find her after they've had some space and be like, what's up, boo?
Yeah. I think you probably roll out early-ish, and as you're approaching Gidget's door, you hear like the resounding like bang of metal coming from the other side. So bat, 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 coming from the other side of the door.
Cara's like takes a deep breath in to like brace herself for a little hot-tempered gnome. And she slowly
piled high on the work tables are a lot more projects than usual. We kind of established that whenever Gidget is upset, she like really goes hard on some projects. So you see like some of those old like projects, that the ones that you pile up on like the back garage shelf and you're like, oh, I'll get to those eventually. Like, I'll work on my Lego battleship or whatever, and like you bring it back. They've all been like taken down and like piled out on these work tables, and you hear the clanging coming from the longest back table, which is like her favorite workstation, and she's in full, like she's got her like kind of welding helmet down, and she's working away at this like automaton thing. So she doesn't seem to hear you come in, as just bang, 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 like going as she's flattening out a sheet of copper.
Yeah, so Cara strides in, and she tries to get into Gidget's like into her field of view, and she presents to her this bouquet of like brass welded flowers.
Oh, very cool.
She's like,
Yeah,
I
the
made
hammer-
these for you.
Yeah, and she's like still going. You see, like, you know, the helmet kind of flicks over towards you, and then you say that, and she stops. And you see her like small body sort of rack with a sigh and like puts down the hammer. And she flips up the helmet and just kind of looks at you, sort of a very neutral, like a practiced neutral expression. And she's like, thanks. They're nice.
Listen, can we talk? I want to understand what's going on.
Okay. Let me just and she looks around her table, and then she has like one of those big kind of like wooden things that you usually put like spoons and stuff in, and she has one on the table, and she like dumps out all the tools inside and kind of takes the flowers and like puts them in that. And she's like, okay, well, do you want to start, or should I start?
Why don't you start?
Okay. Well, I don't have a lot of relationships for a very specific reason. I mean, gnomes do live, you know, quite a long time, and maybe if I was in a normal like gnomish community, maybe I would have a more long-term relationship or something like this, but being here in a place like this where, you know, it's life and death all the time, right? Like every time you go away, I don't know if you're coming back, and the same with me. Every time I ship out, I don't know. So I told myself before this that I would not get involved in a relationship while I was here and while I was doing this. And hearing that you died, and then hearing immediately after that I had no idea that I was away for weeks, and I just didn't know, and I thought everything was fine, and then it wasn't. It just reaffirmed everything every single reason, and what I told myself I wouldn't do, and why this is just a really, really bad idea. And she kind of like fidgets and like picks back up the hammer again, and is just like looking down at what she's making.
Cara goes over and she puts her hand on the hand of Gidget's hand that's on the hammer. She says, I understand. Life is unpredictable anyway, much less without throwing in the fate of the cosmos or some bullshit. And I'm sorry that freaked you out. And I found out in that room that you didn't know, and I think that was really kind of fucked up. But dwarves live a long time too, and I'm happy to keep doing this with you, but I understand if you don't want to get invested with someone like that. I know this lifestyle is hard enough as it is. And so I love you, Gidget. I really do.
My whole life I've been the practical person, you know? I'm the one who thinks and always knows the best course of action and the best things to do, and just right now there's a lot going on, and I don't know how this is all supposed to shake out, and maybe the best thing to do right now is to put this on hold.
I totally understand. I'm gotta go face some like quasi deity kid of Nerul death goddess bullshit. Yeah, I'm good to say if we want to wait till it's over to pick this up again. Yeah, that's fine. Just know that if this all shakes out and we're all okay, just know that I will be here for you.
Yeah, and as she looks at you, you can see her face is just super tight right now, and like you see her like big gnomish eyes are just like swimming with the tears that she is not letting herself cry right now. And she just, again, like she can't even look at you. She's like, I think that would be good for now. Just let me know if there's any artificing you need done.
You do the best work. And Cara opens her arms out super wide, if to have hopefully have one last hug.
Yeah, and she's sort of she like looks up at you and she takes a very sharp breath and she looks down and she makes just one of those gestures, like just one of those like I just can't right now
Yeah.
gestures, and just is staring at the table.
Yeah, Cara kind of solemnly and slowly shakes her head in acknowledgement and kind of wipes her finger off some dust off the table, and she's like, all right, I understand. And starts to head out.
Yeah, and as you like walk away, you can definitely hear like racking sobs coming from her.
Oh, Cara, I like just like hear like she was already getting emotional, but then hearing her be in so much pain, like as soon as she gets through the workshop door and she just like hears her crying, she closes the door behind her and just leans again against it and slumps onto the ground, and yeah, she just starts like quiet sobbing as quietly as she can, like into her knees, like her big red like hair is just like spilled over the top of her, so you just see this like cascade of red curls and just like gently heaving body.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, starting off this great long adventure with a real relationship talk.
Hey man, that's my brand, TM.
They had the talk tonight.
This morning.
Great.
Before breakfast.
The true
Damn.
horror.
Before coffee, even.
Oh God. Mm-mm.
Well, what are Arnadel and Sonya doing?
You know, I couldn't help but think that she was around the corner in like a corridor nearby, trying her best to listen in on this
That
conversation.
is very Sonya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Gidget's workshop is very thick reinforced stone, so you wouldn't be able to, particularly if there are explosions. It is designed so they will be contained within the workspace. So through the door, you didn't hear anything, but I think when Cara comes out, you can definitely.
Yeah, I see her weeping. But I don't think Cara's the kind of person who would appreciate someone going up to them right then and there in that moment. So I'm gonna wait. I'll go back outside somewhere along where I think I might come across her. She'll come across me, and I'll wait patiently.
Okay.
I'll meditate. Just to be there if she needs me.
For sure. And what's Arnadel up to?
Well, she is probably going to be milking as much like peaceful time as she can with Aaron before shit hits the fan. So I imagine she's probably like sleeping in or.
Yeah, I think after yesterday, everybody came back because everybody came back from Trasiana, and then both. So Kristoff and Aaron and Gidget, everybody, they were just exhausted from everything. So I think you came back to your room, and Aaron was like stone cold, like no matter like how
Ouch.
much affection, like just dead to the
Oh yeah,
world.
PTFO.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he'll roll over and he'll be like, "Oh my, what? How long was I? Oh my god. How are you?"
She's like, we're just gonna go back to bed and we're gonna sleep in.
I've gives it a thumbs up and kind of like pats your butt and
Go
then,
back
like,
to bed.
rolls
Baby, go
back.
back to bed.
And
I mean,
then rolls
she's
back.
probably doing the thing, like where if you're like, yeah, sleeping in, you're really just like reading the news and not really sleeping in, but
He is definitely taking it. He's like
in bed.
Yeah, so he'll sleep in as long as you'll let him, essentially.
Yeah, we'll just like hang out in bed until your body starts getting sore and you get that weird headache from like lying in bed for too long. Anybody else? Get that?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So what does Cara do after this?
So she would, after a couple minutes, she would collect herself and wipe her tears off and kind of brush her hair back and start making her way back towards the main training area and look to get a few rounds in with the punching bag.
Word.
Get a workout in. She's gonna go find Saye and be like, I need to work some shit out. Let's do some jumping jacks. I don't care. Dealer's choice. Let's go.
Oh yeah, and the second you show up, she like hops to her feet, like, "Oh hey, great to see you, Cara. What you want? Yeah, totally. Like, I got the bag for you. Whatever you need, I'll get the body bag. I'll hold that up, man. Yeah, you good? How are you?
Don't want to talk about it. Less talking, more punching.
You got it, sister. All right, come on.
So fucking
Workout
support.
montage.
Yeah. And then Farrah's just like, why is no one around for breakfast?
I've got pancakes, everyone.
Yeah, so Farrah, you make pancakes. You have a jug of mimosas ready to go.
She's got like
no one's around.
She's got like 3 plates of like perfect cat pancakes, and then she's got like her own plate of the ones that
The
look like
nasty ones.
super fucking derpy and like
real
shit.
nasty.
There's one hanging out of her mouth, and she's just like eating it without hands, just slowly flopping as she eats it. She's like, more for me.
Nice. All right, fam. You gotta tell me. Someone's gotta do something.
Yeah, so definitely after good sweaty workout, Cara would definitely suggest that they were like, wait, weren't we supposed to all get breakfast together? And she's like, well, I'm hungry anyway, so let's go get food.
Yeah, we got a good sweat in.
Yeah.
The carbo load.
Exactly. And would walk in and see Farrah just like
As soon as you guys come in, she just like stands up and she's like, oh, well, I'll make new ones. And she kind of looks over at them and she's like, I'll make them super chunky for you. It's fine. Just like makes fat cat pancakes and pours more mimosas.
chunk cakes.
Yeah.
Chunk cakes.
Cooking.
Yeah, and then I think
Yeast.
Arnadell, Aaron is one of those boys who, like, the minute he wakes up, he's like, I need
Oh.
food right now. So he, like, kind of, like, just all of a sudden, like, pops up and he's like, that was good sleep. Do you sleep? Oh, you don't sleep.
She meditates for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been asleep for, like, 12 hours. So he's like,
We all need those days. She I mean,
Mhm.
it's like precious time to be with him and not doing shit.
mhm.
So yeah, she's probably pretty used to his habits.
Yeah.
She takes studious notes. She wouldn't miss a single moment of his routine. So yeah, she's like already like kind of somewhat dressed. Like all she's gotta do is put her shoes on for breakfast, brunch.
Yeah. He's like,
late lunch.
Yeah, and he's, wrestling around the sheets, like trying to find where his shirt is or whatever. He's like, oh, how did you talk to Rana?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
How's he doing?
I'm sure we'll talk about it at the table.
That sounds
She's like she's kind of like she was like she's like kind of venting the steam of feeling slightly frustrated with Rana, so she's just like, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
So she's like, oh well, I guarantee we'll have plenty to discuss at the table. She's like, I'm not trying to be dismissive, my dear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want me to come? Or I know mimosa time is very important.
No, we love you.
Okay.
Everybody loves you. I don't think you've had proper bonding time with Cara in a while, or Salia. And have you even gotten a chance to hang out with Farah yet? Like, really?
Honestly, no.
Well,
no,
then get that sweet puffy blouse on and let's go down. I imagine
he looks down. He's like, is it that puffy? Like the whole walk to breakfast, he's like,
like I was just kidding. Like, look, I just like look. She kind of pulls on his like shirt a little bit. She's like, you do know I know exactly how to get like straight to you, right? I just like to.
No, yeah, I didn't know it was puffy.
It's not puffy.
Have to put more starch.
It's not puffy.
I don't.
I just know you would. That joke triggered, and I pulled it.
Yeah. So the whole time he's like following you to the kitchen, being like, "Why would it be puffy?" Like just muttering. Yeah. So you all rendezvous in the Middle Sister or the Griddle Sister. Sorry. At a booth. What is the sign above this booth, everyone? What is the weird kitschy sign?
Eat, slay, shove.
That's good.
Like, how many chickens does it take to cross the road?
Yeah, it's like an obnoxious chicken, like on the sign. Love it. So you're all eating some waffles, eating some mimosas.
Yeah, I think that Farah's like, oh, it takes out like another plate, it makes some extra pancakes, and there's just like a giant like communal plate of just chunky boys in the center of the table, and there's like Irish coffee and also mimosas for whatever you like, and a fruit salad for health.
Nice. Yeah, Aaron immediately starts just piling a bunch of food onto his plate and is like very heartily eating after just exhaustion and then redemption, like eating a million pancakes.
Yeah, Cara is absolutely doing the same. She's just shoving whole pancakes in her mouth, like on the fork.
Farah's fucking thrilled. You can see, like, while you're eating her food, she's just like, this is perfect. Like, I love feeding people.
Yeah, Aaron's like, oh, thanks, Farah. This is a, are you a cook?
No, my mom's really good at cooking, so I learned like a few things from her. But yeah, like, I mean, like chocolate chip eyes, that's just basic. So it's not a big deal.
Oh, wow. So you're like an adventurer and your mom is alive? What's that?
Yeah.
It's weird, huh?
Wait, is everybody's mom dead? Well, I know you don't have moms, but
I mean, I'm an orphan, so.
Oh. Yeah, no, I got both parents. They're nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Well,
anyway,
don't want to live with them, but they're nice.
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of expectation on me, I guess. They both wanted me to go down certain paths, and I wanted to make my own. So here I am, not a worshiper of the mother, not a big, strong paladin lady, not a Corellan, just doing my own thing. And I'm here, which is where I think I'm supposed to be. So it's good. You know, I write, but I don't know. I'm freaking almost 30. I'm not gonna live with them.
Aaron like takes a big like spears another chunky pancake and like slurps it onto his plate.
Anyway, I don't know. Maybe you'll meet them someday. It's not a big deal. But what, guys? We got a lot to talk about.
You hanging out with Chance anytime soon?
She pours another mimosa, but it's all champagne, and she's like, "I don't know how to talk to nice boys," and she just like, downs it.
Oh, Aaron's like, "Oh, are you in Chansa?"
I mean, I wouldn't say it. We like went on a kind of date, and he's like really nice to look at with his shirt off. But I mean, is that really like we're not a
When
we're
did
not a
his
thing.
shirt come off?
Shirt off at your.
Yeah, when did his shirt come off?
I mean, he was like half dressed for like 1 second, and I saw it, and I was like not mad about it. So, but you know, then he put it back on, and it was whatever. You know, I wouldn't have picked it, but there I was. These pancakes.
Thank you, Don't Split, for rating. This is the perfect
Woohoo!
moment to come and visit the Future Maidens while we're having brunch and talking about our love interests in this campaign.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Some serious girl talk.
yeah.
For real.
Today, in the session so far, we have had a let's take a break conversation. We're now having brunch. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and Aaron's like, oh yeah, no, chances I can't say anything about the shirt thing. But he's a good guy.
That's good. I have a lot to say about the shirt thing, but I'm going to keep that inside. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel he's really nice, and you know, I just have a good feeling about him, and I tend to follow my gut with those things. So, you know, it's good. And we have to talk to him today anyways, and maybe I'll bring him pancakes. I don't know. That's the thing that I might do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess kind of speaking that, where do we what are we gonna do now, I guess?
Well, do you know, actually, there was something we were hoping you could do for us. Wasn't there?
Sure.
Check up on the Checkered Follies.
That was
Yeah, those weird rogue
And-
people.
Yeah,
And your
why were they
sister.
there?
Oh,
They were entertaining, but
yeah, I guess and Aaron kind of gives Arnadel like a glance. I have had some conversations with Kristoff, and well, the Sisters of Sorrow now are sort of in a predicament without Rem, who is largely a source of intelligence, I guess, for the Sisters of Sorrow. So he's sort of asked me to step in. I've been working with Rem a long time since I've been here, so I guess I was sort of grooming for that spot just in case anything happened. So I guess I'm the new whatever that is.
those are some
Really?
big
You're taking
pants.
over Rem's position?
Yes. Not like they were like the big three, but I have a lot of contacts in a lot of places, and I'm sort of the person who can get things done, as it were, quickly
Yeah.
and quietly.
And you
So-
killed an ancient blue dragon. Not many people can say that. So I think you're pretty qualified.
Well, I wasn't alone, Arnadel. Just met my crew. A lot of folks I work with. But yes, I guess if you need things, I can help now. And he's sort of like wrestling with this is like, I'm serious now, or like, this is a business meeting, as he's like shoving a pancake into his face. So yeah, if you want me to look up these checkered Follies. They were the mercenary band you encountered, right?
Yeah, up in North Point.
Okay. I mean, I've heard of them, so I can definitely put my ear to the ground and see what's going on with them if you think it would be helpful.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we didn't know really where they came from and who had sent them there. As far as I remember, they just kind of showed up and offered their help, didn't they?
Yeah, it
We
was
couldn't really stay to ask what was going on either because we were running back with Cara at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can definitely do that.
yeah, it
Might
was
have
pretty
some
weird.
on Rem.
Got it. Well, I will need
a-
maybe a day or so to get anything back. But I can absolutely contact you wherever you are.
You guys were also saying something about his sister too.
Yeah, you remember that little moment that Neil and I had?
Yes, I remember that.
I think we should talk about that.
Okay. And he kind of pushes his pancake plate away. What?
I mean, we can talk about it privately. They certainly all know about it.
And he looks around. What?
Kara's like cheeks are like full of pancake, and you see like little pancake bits in like her like beard, and she's just like, "Whoa." Like a trash panda that's been caught.
What else is there to say?
Well, your sister is has the ability to be she's omnipotent, just visions,
Prescient. Yes.
and she's I can't remember if you said she was working or just under the protection of the Sisters of Sorrow.
She is safe right now.
Oh yeah, I don't want to compromise her safety, but not only am I concerned about my role in your life with her vision, but I'm also wondering if she's happened to see anything that is pertinent to our current situation. That might help.
Well,
I'm being intentionally vague because I know that her safety is of utmost importance.
I absolutely. I just I haven't spoken to her since I came back. Since I made the choice to come back, which she did not want me to do, but
yeah,
I can reach out and see if she has anything to say. You do understand why I wouldn't want her to bring her here.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want you to either. Like, of course not. I'm just whatever information we're in our discussion. She's clearly a potential resource of anything that might be helpful. And you know, when your sister, before you and I even really got to know each other, says something like that, it's hard to forget. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the one who's doomed, so I haven't forgotten either.
Well, would you rather be the one that survives and causes it? It sucks.
He's
ways.
looking he's like he's looking at all of the other maidens like
Yeah, Cara
Is
goes
this
to
the closest
slip
thing
out of
to
the
a
booth.
fight we've ever had?
Yeah, Farrah's like she like sees Cara get up, kind of like follows suit, and then looks back, grabs the pancake plate, and is like,
Farrah, maybe you could show me where the oranges and the orange press is for the mimosas.
"Ah, yes, citrus fruits. I'm a professional in those. This way, madam."
I am also interested in this.
Vitamin C is good for you. Everybody should be interested, except for you guys. And then skitters out.
Arnold like looking at you guys like, what the fuck? I said what I needed to say. It's not like, where are you going?
Yeah, and Aaron like is pushing around a piece of pancake sort of with his fork, like limply. I don't really have an answer to that, I guess.
Wait, what was my question?
If I would
Did I
rather
ask one?
be the one who
I mean,
would
it was
rather.
retautical. It was a
Oh,
rhetorical
sorry,
question
I
in
don't.
that
Okay, I
both-
wasn't
I don't-
sure. I don't know how to. You know.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, no, it was a rhetorical question.
okay.
Like, obviously, like neither one of us wants to die or be the cause of the other's death. Even if it was the reciprocal, but she's like,
Yeah.
I hope it didn't have something to do with my previous patron. Maybe it changed. I don't know, but things are about to get real crazy. I don't think it's silly to assume that. So of course I kind of that thought's been kind of plaguing my conscious existence for a while.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
because as each day passes, I think it's pretty clear that we care about each other more and more.
he like gives you sort of a weird smile. It's a weighty smile, right? Where you're
Yeah, we're
talking-
both smiling with
like,
pain. Ditched smile.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I have sort of taken the approach that, I don't know, maybe we can carve our own paths in this. And I don't know what Mila does. And, you know, we work for Gods of Fate. I don't know if fate, I don't really know what fate means. So I'm choosing to sort of interpret that as maybe one of many
Definitions of doom.
possibilities.
Well,
Sure,
the way that I
doom,
see
you know,
it,
the more you say doom, I mean, every time you say doom, he like pulls at his like collar.
she looks at him and she grabs his hands and she has like a steadfast gaze. She's like, look, you and I both joined up with the Sisters of Sorrow, knowing full on that this job has a lot of risks. And I made peace with with the D word.
He laughs when you say
that
doom.
doesn't help at all. I know, right?
No, it's like
especially
a
coming from
nice,
me.
like, you know, breaking the tension laugh.
Sure. She's like, we both are basically in very high risk jobs. If it wasn't going to be each other, it would be the job itself that we're combating on a daily basis. So as much as I love your sister, even though I barely know her, but she's your sister. So of course, by default, I care about her deeply too. That word can have so many meanings. And let's be honest, the gods really love to be
Really
play
just
with the margins.
doomy. Yeah. It sounds, I guess, better on paper, maybe, to say doom. So I'm sort of like, ooh, you know, exactly.
Yeah, like I don't know. I still feel strong. What comes if the accident wills. But obviously you're on the other end of that. So I guess I leave that up to you. I feel strongly, you know.
Yeah, and he you know, scoots closer to you in the booth and, like, you know, laces his fingers in yours and smiles at you, and he's like, I'm happy to be here, and this is exactly where I want to be.
Oh, so she like squeezes his hand and does the like head on chest thing. She's like, me too. And I'll if it comes to it, you know, I'll stand up to a god if I need to.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. I just don't think that might not go well, or it could.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that's, you know what? Let's just giggle at the gambling game.
Just
Here we go. And
play
she
it by
cheers.
ear. But yeah, if there's anything I can do to help, I guess I'm the person for that now. So
Yeah. Oh, she gets all excited. She kind of tugs on his puffy shirt a little. It's not puffy, but she's like tugging on it to imply it. She's gonna tug on it. She's like, "Ooh, are you the spy master now?"
I don't get a raise, so I don't.
Do any of us?
I don't think that's how it works. I don't know. Yeah. What are you all doing? Pretending to juice in the kitchen?
Are you
Yeah.
guys Three Stoogesing it around the door frame?
We started our own little kitchen band, and we're just like banging pots and pans together with wooden spoons.
We
Like,
are
mopping.
doing cooking things.
Cooking so hard.
Yeah, just every now and then actually juicing an orange, but there's nothing under it to catch it. Like, oh, I'll clean that up later. What? Can you read their lips? What are they saying?
Hell yeah. Sweet.
So that was super interesting, that thing you showed me in the kitchen. Maybe we should head back inside and try and get some plan together with the rest of the crew.
Yes, it is very cool how much percentage of vitamin C an orange can provide. It is a number. Let
That's
us
right.
go sit down.
Yeah, Aaron's like, should we get them? They're pretending in the
She's like-
kitchen that we're fighting.
No,
Should we
they
give them
have-
a minute?
No, they have an uncanny ability to figure it out. They'll be here in 2 seconds, I promise.
Oh, I should pretend to be mad at you. Okay, here we go.
she's like, you can try.
Yeah.
And she pats her eyelashes.
Yeah, so when you all walk back into like the main room, Aaron is like, his eyebrows are down, but he's like smile frowning.
Farah, after that roll, is just like, is everything okay?
Have you ever seen excuse me. Oh god, hold on.
So done.
Aaron killed Arnadell.
Cara,
Dude.
yeah, Cara takes the wooden spoon that she used to stir the pitcher of mimosa and flicks Aaron in the back of the head. It's like, you big faker.
Ah!
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
not the puffy shirt. And he looks at Arnadell.
It is a little puffy.
Anyway, this has been lovely. And he looks again at Ferry. He's like, actually, like really, really good. If you could do this more, that'd be great. But I should probably get to work, I guess. So I will
All
look
right.
up the Follies and I will contact Mila and
At your discretion. That is an up to you thing. I just threw it up into the wind, and if we don't hear anything about Mila, we can righteously assume that it wasn't the right course of action.
it'll be good to talk to her to see how she's doing anyway. So I'll get to that. So just find me, I guess, if you're heading out before you go, and I'll see you then. And he does like a weird salute.
She's like, she grabs it. She's like, stop it.
Yeah, I am the spy master, and this is official. And he salutes again.
She's
Good
gonna like
God.
totally fucking pinch his ass, like real fucking covertly.
Yeah.
Like he's never gonna even know that it hit, and it's gonna I hope it properly shocks him.
Yeah,
where
he
she's
yelps
just-
a little bit and looks around and is like, goodbye, and backs out of the room with his back not towards anyone, and then turns the doorknob and leaves.
Fantastic.
Whew.
fucking mage hand. That's the
It'll get
best
ya.
use for a mage hand ever. Just little.
I'm into it. I'm
Butt
into it.
pinches. Yeah.
Totally keeping that in my back pocket.
All right. So I'm crossing off one objective on the list. We have 2 remaining objectives.
Woohoo!
Wow, so efficient.
Yeah,
aye.
after we wrap up eating the rest of the pancakes and everything, Cara will suggest, we should probably talk to Kristoff and Isolde and everyone and have a formal meeting about what the fuck we should do now, I guess.
Okay, but I'm bringing more pancakes.
They'd probably like that. Isolde looks like she should eat more.
She does. And they should all be cat shaped. She makes a really cute kitty for Isolde. Gets a plate going and then a separate plate to bring later to Chance, and is like, oh, God, what am I becoming? And she just like leaves with the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can head out, just head over to the conference room you all are meeting in. And sure enough, guess who's already up, working again? You see Valerius, Isolde, and Kristoff are all there currently at the table, and stacks and rolls of parchment are just sitting all over the table. And they all look, again, like they didn't get quite enough sleep. There are like ink quills out and everything, and all these long, looks like they're doing just a ton of paperwork. So as you walk in, Valerius like points a claw and kind of adjusts these spectacles on his snoot and looks at all of you. Ah, good morning. Is it morning?
Paperwork, it's the worst, am I right?
Yes, well, with Kristoff's grand decision to incorporate into the Maiden Society, we have quite a bit to do. And Kristoff like looks up, just so miserable as he's like signing another document. He's like, yeah. And Isolde sort of rolls her eyes and efficiently like pulls down another stack of paper and starts filling out something.
Farrah just kind of like loudly puts down the plate, and she's like, "Wrong stack, sweetie," and pushes a stack of pancakes towards her.
Oh, this did these come from the middle sister?
I made them with the griddle sister.
Oh, you made them. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, this is very considerate. Thank you. And they all start grabbing pancakes. And Valerius looks back up. So?
Well, I figure we should get to talking about next steps and everything, and if there's anything we can do to help with all of this, as she motions towards the giant stack of parchment on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they all sort of nod, and Isolde looks up at you, and yes, I spoke to Mira, and she seemed intent on having a conversation with you. How did that go?
Good. She said we have her help if we need it. So
that is really excellent and unexpected.
Yeah, she's really nice. She said that she knew that the challenges that faced us are ones that face the whole world, and if we need anything, that she's a friend in the matter. And we want to go to Faelyn anyway, because we want to research the avatar and the wizard's sanctum it was in. And so yeah, since Faelyn's got the places with all the books.
Yeah, so basically I think if we just ask for transportation, or if we have the transportation, we could head out there as soon as is best for you guys, if you don't need us to do something around here.
Yes, well, she did mention that might be a possibility, but I can absolutely send an emissary message and speak with her, and we could be there today. I completely agree that we should spend as much as we can trying to research this avatar you've mentioned, and this wizard. Perhaps finding more information can shed some light on everything that's happening and give us some way to prepare for what is to come. So let me do that, and if you don't mind, I think things would go a little bit smoother if I accompanied you to the royal court of the entire continent.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
But as in like a chaperone?
No, I am related to the Tsarina and well versed in Eladrin politics, and it just might be beneficial if you had someone familiar accompany you. And she sort of like nervously takes a bite of a pancake, and like you see it like go into her mouth, and she was nervous, and then like as the pancake hits her tongue, she's like, "Oh," and like her eyebrows sort of raise. She like chews thoughtfully. This is remarkable. I don't think I've ever had this.
Family recipe.
But anyway, yes, she like pushes away
Yes,
the.
come with us. It would be beneficial, absolutely. Just needed to know that we were also respected.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic. Well then, I shall arrange everything, and will you be ready to leave in a couple hours?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we just have one person that we want to speak to first before we leave, so that should be fine.
Excellent. Well then, and Kristoff, if you don't need me here, and Kristoff just he like looks at the stacks of paper and then looks at Valerius, and I will. Yeah, what this is fine. And Isolde's like, great. Valerius lets out like a little like nose whistle sound. Wonderful. Then I will be going, and she kind of wraps, and you see as she stands up, she's actually wearing like a nice robe. They're all kind of in like work jammies. So she like pulls the robe around herself, and then is like, well, I'll see you in a couple hours then at the teleportation circle, and we shall head out.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. And she scurries out of the room.
All right, wait, who did we have to talk to?
Chance.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's your thing. Okay.
No, I mean we need. I mean, it's not my thing. I wouldn't say that it's my thing, but like, we need to speak to him about, like the I believe it was the Church of the Many Faiths, and what he can tell us about all the religions coming together, where we found the Ashtar. I don't know what he would say.
I'm gonna grab another beer real quick.
Because you're the cleric, and you've got the faith and all that.
I'm not a cleric. It's fine. Wow, everything's all mixed up. She's just gonna kind of like push the pancake plate over towards Kristoff and Valerius more that Isolde is gone, and she's just like, eat some fucking pancakes. I'm taking these 3 off the top. How's my hair?
Good. I mean, it always looks good. You have a remarkable ability for looking good.
Oh my god, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you so much.
No problem. Do you want us to go with you?
No, I think this is like I said, this is not for me. So this is official business. All of us should go together, and because this is just to get information. That's all.
Okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Business first. You know what I'm saying, homie? Oh my god, why do I get so weird, Cara? Why do I get so weird?
Oh my god, and she's like just belting out laughter as we're like walking down the hallway towards New Breach. And she just pats you on the side. It's like, it's okay. You're not as awkward as Arnadel was at the
Farrah kind of looks back at Arnadel. She's like, oh no. Poor thing.
You're charming.
Oh.
I'm just painful.
Oh. Okay. I mean, this doesn't feel like a really nice thing to say, but that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yes. All right, sweet. So we heading off to Chance's super cool temple in the newly treed town of New Breach.
Yeah, they play paintball there, and it's like it's like totally hip.
Yes, that's the fun church. Yeah. Yeah, the youth program is out of this world in chances.
Bouncing houses.
Oh, hell yeah.
Someone plays guitar in the choir.
Fun
Obviously.
fact, the very, very first time I ever played Dungeons and Dragons was as part of a youth thing for a church.
That's fantastic.
That's so much cooler than any of my youth group experiences.
Yeah. Well, it's a Unitarian Universalist church, which is like the most chill religion ever. So
That's
they're
awesome.
like one week they're like, let's read from the Quran. It's amazing. And then they're like, let's like explore the Old Testament, or like let's read, this like Sylvia Plath article, or like it's
What is this that you're explaining to me? This is none of my.
It's pretty chill. Anyway, okay, so you all head down into the town of New Breach. And last time you were here was last night when they were, starting off this kind of kegger under the new Fae tree. And as you emerge, like, from the caverns that the Elysium Keep is housed in, the town of New Breach lays out in front of you. And what it has been so far, very much like, imagine like an old kind of Wild West boom town where everything is, just like shacks and kind of on this large dusty plain that you're on, like bordering this new ocean area here with some scraggly copses of trees. But now as you look at it, something about this place just seems different. Now, like, the vegetation already in just like the 12 hours since this has happened, like, green grass has just sprung up around the town, and like even the very landscape seems to be growing more like rolling hills around it. It's so odd when you look at it, how much this has changed in just this little amount of time. It's this ineffable quality that has just improved the town. So as you're walking up this new town that's sort of feeling like a seaside cool town, now you see that the All Faiths Temple still there in its place. The Fae tree now in the light of the day is just as rainbow scintillating colors. It seems to drift in a breeze that isn't really in the sky, but the tree just moves of its own sort of accord. This tree is very much alive on its own. So yeah, you can make your way towards the half-built All Faiths Temple that still has its scaffolding and everything set up around it.
Mm-hmm.
Petition for a new name, Cool Town.
Cool Town.
Welcome to
Cool Town.
Welcome.
What up? You want to hit up Cool Town later?
Yo, Cool Town. That's bars. What up? And as you walk up to the temple, you can see that there are a bunch of kids that are hanging out in front of it. So kids from like ages 5 to 15, probably again of all these like mixed races that occupy the town. They are all like painting the outside of the All Faiths Temple right now. They're giving it like a nice sort of a salmon color. We're going with like a sort of a Tuscan Italian villa color scheme here. So they're
That's
all,
a look.
yeah, it's a look. Chance is not afraid of a look. So they're all painting, and you see that Chance is kind of running among them, like helping kids, paint in the right direction. Refilling like putting down canvases hastily, like trying to clean up messes as this is all happening.
Yeah, Cara will look around for the handsome tiefling gentleman.
Yeah, he's running around right now. He's like talking to a cluster of like 5 kids and like trying to show them how to like paint up and down in a way that isn't like manic swirls.
Yeah.
I think that like meanwhile, like if there's like a straggler about to go haywire with the paintbrush, like Fair's just like and like sends out a mage hand to like grab the paintbrush before it's like on the trim. God forbid.
Yeah, there's like a young half-elven like toddler boy who's like like running towards it like it's a broadsword, about to like slash down on this wall.
Sweet sisters. Okay. And she just kind of like goes over, and while he's like finishing up his little tutorial with the other kids. She's just like giving her own like, yeah, it's the wall's not our enemy, it's our friend. So
Exactly. Sky to ground. Sky to ground. That is the way to get this done fastest and most efficiently. And it's fun. And all the kids are like, looking up.
Woo!
If you do it this way, I will give you candy. 5 pieces each. And all the kids are like, 5 pieces each. And they're like looking around. 5 pieces each. And like wide-eyed, and they all like start obediently fading up and down. And he stands up and he's like, it has been a surprisingly long morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, but if I help out, do I get 5 pieces of candy or do I get something else?
You're big, so you can have 10. And all the kids are like, why does she get 10 pieces of candy? And again, 10 pieces of candy. Like, he starts traveling around.
And then Farrah's like, I hear he gives compensation for good behavior.
And
the
the kids are just like,
you get more candy.
And Chance is like, oh god, I'm gonna run out. Anyway, what brings all of you down here? To admire our beautiful. And he indicates at the giant trays. Like, it is it's amazing. I think even the air smells different. It just, I don't know. It smells fresher.
Yeah, the fate trees are amazing. I've seen a couple, but it's really doing some good really fast. I've never seen like from plantation or bringing over to all of this. So salmon, that's a great color.
I wanted people to be able to find it, even if they were drunk. Because I
Good
find
marketing.
when people need religion, it's usually because they are very drunk.
You are a wise man.
Cara has
can I
picked
say?
up a paintbrush and she has painted a very silly curly mustache on her face, and she goes over and starts painting with the kids.
Oh my god. Well, now they're all going to do it. All right.
They were never coming home clean, Chance. It's fine.
That is fair. All right. Let's just let them go for it. Anyway, sorry, what can I do for you?
Well, I can give you pancakes for breakfast. They're cats. And
made
I
this?
was wondering if maybe we could sit down and just like chat about a few things, but about like business, like actual important things.
Okay.
So yeah, this is I don't remember. Have you met everybody?
Yeah, no, everyone down here yesterday. Chance, he just waves around just in case y'all don't remember him. Yeah, no, come inside. Let's I thank you. He holds the plate. He's like, yeah, come and he like walks through the door that's already open, and there's the like pews and everything set up here, and there's sort of like a table in the corner. He like wipes off some like dust, lays a sheet down, lays the pancakes, and starts like finding crates and like enough things that you all could sit down around the table. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk business. I'm not sure how much help I can be to you, but whatever I can do.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm sure you'll do great. So we are looking into a few things for the Sisters of Sorrow, and we felt that this would be a good place to, inquire, because through our travels we, happened to come across a door that had all sorts of kind of like locks and spells that were keeping something in, but it happened to have writings of all different kinds of faiths that had come together. And I guess we were just wondering, do you know anything in the history of a time when this was necessary? And
Well, okay. Well, when you say all kinds of faiths, I mean, how extensive are we talking about? Did you notice any patterns or anything in particular?
I mean, the only thing we noticed was that they were all trying to keep something that we can only assume is terrible, and it was all containment magic.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you. It's pretty uncommon for folks of all different varieties to get together to work together. That's a lot of tenets of a lot of different faiths. You know, you can only believe in one. But if all these different folks were working together, yeah, that seems, I don't know, a call from divinity, some kind. So I think appealing to the gods in question would probably be your best bet.
And
Have you heard of anything called the Avatar?
Let's roll a knowledge. I mean, I know that avatar is a word used, somebody who is so holy that they represent a god. So maybe like the highest paladins of a certain god could become the avatars of a god. It's essentially when a small piece of a god is put into an individual for a short time. Usually it's how gods can come onto the material plane. But if it's just the avatar and it's not like the avatar of, Pelor or the avatar of Cord, I don't know what that means specifically.
Yeah, I mean, really, we don't know anything about it at all. So we're just trying to see if anyone else's life experiences can lend us a nugget to start on.
I mean, I don't have, maybe the power that Isolde might have, or some of the other clerics, but I could try to appeal. My faith works a little bit differently than some other clerics I know, so perhaps appealing to the general spirit might be helpful if you think so.
I mean, if you can, we're kind of just fishing with no bait right now, trying to figure out a direction to go in.
Okay. Yeah. Can you give me a couple minutes and I can set something up in the back room and I can open the channel to the cosmos.
Yeah.
I have to say it doesn't work like 95% of the time. So, but I can certainly try.
I mean, anything is better than nothing, and we really appreciate you helping us.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. Also, let me tell all the kids to go home unless your friend out there might be willing to watch them. I assume Cara's still painting.
Oh yeah, Cara, she's having a gale time, and now she's painting like angry eyebrows or like monocles on the other kids, and
all
they're all
kids are just covered in pink. Like
they're covered in paint. They're like their hands are covered in paint, and we're just like slapping paint on.
They love it. They're having the best time.
Farrah looks out the window and sees the chaos, and she's like, "No, they look fine."
Cara's got like a kid on her shoulder who's like painting up as like high as he can reach.
Okay. Great. We'll just let her know that we can't be disturbed for about 2-3 minutes. We'll need total silence.
Gotcha. We will let her know.
Set up. And he moves his way over towards, like, you saw, like, by the altar space there are those two, like, additional rooms. One has been established as his bedroom. He goes to the other that probably looks like a storeroom area. And he starts grabbing votive candles, like, and heading over to that room.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I guess we'll go out and we'll be like, Car, you seem to be containing this chaos out here. just keep it outside and don't let anyone run in for like, I don't know, we'll say 10 minutes to be safe.
You got it. And she puts a thumbs up in there. You see a big salmon thumb.
Farrah just thumbs up her back and she's like, man, she's good with kids.
It takes Saya a second to realize which one is Cara since they're all so small. Covered in paint. Just like, oh, cool. See you in a minute.
Yeah, all right.
The one with the great muscular calves.
Yeah. All right. And you make your way sort of back into that back room. So it's going to be Arnadel, Farrah, and Saye observing this. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, as you enter this room, you see that Chance has lit, like, a bunch of these candles and kind of staged them around the floor. And he sits down, like, cross-legged and indicates for you to close the door. So I have an audience. So any of you good with singing by any chance?
Let me check my character sheet.
Yeah, performance.
I'm fair all right at performance.
I can slap the ground in somewhat rhythm.
Sure, that's good enough. Yeah, I guess that's sort of always how I don't know, feel like the spirit moves me through song. So here we go. I guess join in however you want.
I do the "We Will Rock You" stomp.
Yeah, and there's and you begin like stomping out a pattern. He kind of like waits, and then he begins to sing in a very low baritone, a song that you don't. I don't think either Saye or Arnadel would recognize the language, but Farrah, you do. It's infernal, but it's not. I don't know if you've ever heard infernal sung, because infernal is a very ugly, like disgusting language, and things like song and music and joy are not commonly associated with it. But Chance weaves the words of this language, again in that low tone and just matching Saye what you're doing. And so Farrah, you're picking up the words. It's like, we who have fallen so far from the sky, let our voices rise back to the heavens. Let us reconnect. Us to them, we're all here in this. Like, as he's sort of singing this out. And you see his eyes close as he's continuing these words. And around this room, a breeze starts to happen, and you notice it very, very softly at first. It's like objects in the room just rattle slightly. Pieces of paper get like shifted around. You're sort of in this storeroom, right? So it's just like mops and extra like plywood and tools just start to tinkle around the room, and then you begin to see the dust pick up in here, and suddenly Chance goes silent, like interrupted, and his eyes flick open, and you see that they've rolled back into his head, so it's just the whites of his eyes right now, and the dust is floating around this room for a moment as like perfect silence sort of permeates, and the dust all coalesces into this like sphere that's floating above where you all are, and then it begins to like drop down onto the ground, and you see it forms this pattern. This sort of spiral, almost looks like a question mark pattern, and you realize it's a symbol that you've seen before. This was the symbol that was carved onto the floor, and Chance is muttering something very low under his breath. And then Arnadel, you feel from your shoulder, Fitzpatrick just starts like croaking and choking, and then like opens his beak really widely, and you see very, very clearly the Raven Queen's voice comes out to you as it says, oh my god, wait, what did
Was this something that only I hear? Or does everybody hear it?
No, so Fitzpatrick is screaming this out in the Raven Queen's voice. As it says, find the maker to unmake. Find the maker to unmake. And Chance's muttering is beginning. You're starting to hear a bunch of different voices coming out of Chance's mouth. So some female, some male, low, high, elderly, childlike. Find the maker to unmake. Find the maker to unmake. And you see the dust has settled down in this pattern, and all of a sudden, like this whole room is kind of rocked as all of these tools like go flying, and Chance like comes back to himself and like holds a hand up to his head, and like Fitzpatrick starts like like chokes out some glitter as this happens, and he's like, "Oh my god, there were so many." Oh, and he like just kind of reels for a moment, and you see his eyes roll, and he just collapses, passed out.
Farah runs over to him to kind of like try to catch his body, and if not, like kind of pick it up. And she's just, "Are you okay?"
And there's that last like sort of lulling half breath where he's like, "Find the maker to unmake." And that's where we're going to be ending this episode for tonight. So, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Venture Maidens. But don't go away, because we're going to take a short break and be back recording a second episode for you tonight. But for the purposes of saving me from editing hell, we're going to do some outros, then intro the new one. So thank you, everybody, so much for listening. I have been your Dungeon Master, Celeste Conowitch.
Excuse me, oh my god. I've been your moon elf warlock Arnadelathil, played by Brittany.
I'm Katie, and I've been Faelyn, your tiefling sorceress.
I'm Nassim, and I've been your human monk, Sayanor.
And I have been your heartbroken barbarian, Cara Brunhilde.
Oh, there's a lot of feels packed into it. Have everybody. Well,
Role played their asses off.
God damn it. We're role playing. Thank you, everybody, so much for hanging out for this episode. Stick around, because we're going to be right back. But until then,
Venture away!
Venture away. Until 10 minutes from now. We'll be right back, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Back. Hello, Coconut. Hello, welcome back. Oh my god,
Whoa.
it's like we just saw you, but it feels like it's been 10 minutes. Welcome, everybody, to the second recording of Venture Maidens for the evening. So we're feeling extra spicy, extra saucy. It's like 2 a.m. where Katie is, so things are about to get weird.
Whoop whoop.
That's not true.
Not
But
this
go
hard,
on.
Katie. I don't know.
Close enough.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. This is going to be episode 73 of Venture Maidens. This is officially the last episode we're going to record this year. So good vibes, well wishes. We're going to close this year with a bang before we come back in 2020. So yes, hello everyone. Welcome. My name is Celeste Konowich, and I'm going to be your dungeon master.
My name is Brittany, and I am going to be playing your Moon Elf Warlock Arnadel Ithel.
I am Katie, and I'm going to be playing Faelyn, your tiefling sorceress.
Yes, and
Yes.
I am Nassim, your human monk, Sayanur, who remains inspired.
Yeah.
The crown remains.
Because we rolled no dice last game.
And I am Sage, and I will be your casual cleric, Cara Brunhilde.
Nice. Well, we're not going to tell you what happened last time on Venture Maidens because we just did it. And I cut it out of the podcast episodes anyway now. So,
True.
yes, we are picking back up right after we had gone down to New Breach, seen the new shiny town with its beautiful Fae tree at its center. You had talked to Chance, interrupting him and a bunch of kids, like painting the new church, and he had said he could help you and kind of like channeled some gods, and basically you got this very strange message, something about find the maker to unmake had come calling to you in a bunch of voices issuing from Chance, and he had collapsed on the floor, and there you are, Arnadel, Farah, and Saya. You just witness him fall down on the ground while Kara's outside babysitting the kids.
Yeah. So Farah runs up to him and kind of like lifts up his head and like puts it on her lap and is checking in on him, like checking, is he breathing? Is everything okay?
Yeah, so he is breathing, but he seems really foggy, like going in and out, and again, he keeps muttering that phrase that you kept hearing, find the maker to unmake.
Is that is that the maker of the avatar or of the god? Can you be a little more specific?
And he's like lolling, and he kind of like blinks open his eyes and is like, what happened?
You know that small percentage of the time that communicating with the gods works for you? That just happened.
Oh, it's never been. There were so many. Oh, and he kind of blinks around. He's like, there were so many voices. I don't know. Usually it's just a presence, but there were hundreds. I don't feel so good. And he kind of like like crouches down onto the ground. Doing that thing when people are just like really sick and miserable and kind of like balling up like on your lap right now, Farah.
Oh, she just kind of rubs his back and she's like, maybe we should get Cara or Saya if you feel like you can help me get him over to the bed.
Oh, I'm fine. Just leave me just for like a second.
Okay. She just keeps rubbing his back.
Yeah, okay. All right. It feels like a real bad hangover, if I'm going to tell you the truth. Ooh. Well, I hope that helped.
I think that it really, really did. Thank you so much. I didn't really think that we were going to leave with you in this state at all. But I really think this is gonna help us.
Yeah, and he's just like in your lap. He's like, this is nice.
Okay. Well, let's we'll just. And she just kind of like, does the head scritches of comfort.
Yeah.
Head scritches of comfort. New spell.
It's a
New
cantrip.
cleric, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually he like pushes himself up to a sitting position. He's like, yeah, I'll be good. It was real loud. My head is killing me.
Farrah kind of like leans down and kisses his forehead. She's like, for the boo-boo, I just okay. Well, let's get you in a chair.
Yeah, no,
And go from there.
That sounds good. We'll lean heavily on you, and you can drag him definitely out to one of the benches in the main room. Well, if there's anything else you need, I should be good to go in a few hours. But for right now, I think I'm about spent.
Well, ladies, did you have anything else you think we should ask him? I think unfortunately in a few hours we're gonna be far from here.
Oh no, thank you so much for doing what you did. Clearly it's something we needed to hear. So many people, deities, decided to come through. Take it easy. Why don't you guys take a moment to say goodbye to each other, and I'll walk out.
I follow. I just kind of like.
Farrah, like to their backs, where Chance cannot see, is like, "Wait, don't go." And then kind of turns to him, and she's like, "Well, thanks again, and not for business reasons. I feel like kind of a dick because I have to leave very soon. But I think that you're great, and I mean, like, kids running around and you're good with them, and I feel like, I don't know, you kind of, in a strange way, sort of get, I don't know, I just feel connected to you in some
sort of,
way.
Like holds out like a hand, like a limp hand, to like for you to like come over here, and he grabs your hand, and he like looks up and squints, like when you have like a major headache. So he's looking at you, and he like does like a weak smile. He's like, I think you're great too, and don't you worry, you do whatever you have to do, and I'm gonna be here when you get back. So go do big exciting things. I'm hopefully gonna have this roof patched by the time you get back. So
I think you can do anything you put your mind to. And okay, well, I'm gonna try to be less weird next time I see you. That's my promise to you.
I like the weird, so I think you should not do that. So
okay.
He's gonna like kind of like tug you down, like, because he's sitting in a chair and you're standing, so he's like until like you get down to his level, and he's gonna like do the thing where he like swoops a hand like back like at the base of your head and pull you in and kiss your face.
Farrah will mash faces back with him and finally pull back and be like, that was better than the other cleric that I've kissed. You aren't like other clerics.
I was competing with it.
But you're different. I don't know. Maybe next time we're going to talk more about ourselves and maybe, where we come from and stuff. But Holy shit.
That's
Wow.
blasphemy. I don't.
I'm gonna let you know now if you're not cool with that, this shit ain't gonna fly because I
No,
have a
I
po-
was. It was a joke.
Oh, that was a joke. Okay.
I'm glad
Oh
to
my
be the top,
God.
top scorer on your board of clerics that you
Sweet
like to kiss. It's
me
good to know
too.
that I'm competing.
No,
so I
it's
really
not.
Just bring my A game.
It's like a drunk Farrah. She's different. I'm gonna leave.
All right.
But thank you for that.
Okay. Well, I'll see you when you get back, Farrah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bye.
Beautiful. Wow. That was powerful.
Bye. And I also had a headache during that, so it can get even better. Bye. He's yelling as he walks.
She just kind of like does like the kind of like haha like dismissive hand like you're so funny, and then just kind of like goes out looking bewildered and lost.
Oh my god. Wow.
She just exits and
Cool.
she's
We
like
did everyone's relationships. in the last 2
everybody
hours. All
Updated.
right. Updated.
On the
relationship status changes
Updated.
have occurred.
It's complicated. It's new. It's super groovy. Committed as fuck. It's complicated. It's new. Good.
Yeah, so she just walks out just like looking lost for a second, and then she gets a big grin on her face and she's like, all right, well, I think it's time to go cool down and read some books. Oh my god, Cara, you are very pink and
So pink.
Yeah, you see Cara helping this kid do a handstand and paint with his feet on the wall.
I feel bad for Chance, and he's just an invention of my brain. So
Yeah, her hair is just like covered in this pink salmon paint. She's just like, oh, it's time to leave already. How did the thing go?
super good. I don't know about you ladies, but super good.
She looks confused.
Yeah, so I think that we give Cara kind of like a rundown of the whole Chance ritual thing with the gods and about the find the maker to unmake and all that.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense. The person who made it would probably know how to unmake it.
Mm-hmm. Too bad we don't have a name.
Yeah. Again, it was just this like symbol that had appeared in the dust, which is the same symbol you saw carved on the floor of that tower, where you initially like had that confrontation with the drow. And Farrah, you would know just general divinity knowledge. It is extremely uncommon when you appeal to a god, like to have many gods or multiple voices. This is incredibly weird. Because you know the spell. What's that cleric spell? Where it's like
Divination?
Yeah. When you're like you can appeal to your deity and actually like get an answer or advice. It's not supposed to work like it just worked in that room. And then Arnadel would also pique your interest too. That Fitzpatrick was just so maybe the Raven Queen was able to like come through and.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it was her voice,
the voice.
right?
Voice you heard.
Doesn't she speak through thought and memory?
Yeah,
like her
but
two ravens.
You've never heard her really speak so directly through Fitzpatrick. That's never something.
Yeah,
she's done.
she like usually I see her face to face, or she leaves a note or something like that.
I mean, and the last time you saw her face to face, you had to travel to a remote gate in the middle of the Feywild and perform a weird ritual to talk to her. So this is like the most direct connection you've had to her since then.
Yeah, that was. I even appealed to her and got nothing. Like I was left on red.
Yep.
Like I know it went through. I'm not
Yeah.
like I was like, yeah, that's not. But so that was kind of she was like heavy eyebrow raise.
So it looks like a lot of gods are very concerned,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
All right, well, let's get our shit together, pack our bags, and make our way to the Arcane Tower.
Wait a second.
Oh, what?
Katie, didn't Farah also reach out to her deity for some advice? And
Yeah,
got nothing.
she got
And-
nothing,
and
but
got
then
Chance.
randomly showed up at our door and was like, I felt like I should come here.
I think all I got was like a feeling.
Sparkle
What?
fart, if I recall.
What if whatever is unraveling this tapestry somehow put some kind of like inability, like thing that our deities can't reach us, and it took like one hell of a fucking spell, a alas or chance, for them to actually be able, which might be, that's making me wonder why all of them at once. Maybe chance was some thing that opened up or
Conduit.
parted, yeah, like parted the thing that's keeping our deities from being able to talk to us directly. Is that thing, like Arnidal's wondering, like maybe some unbeknownst to us, there's like, that might be one of the defense mechanisms that the maker, and now all of them came forward in this like moment of like open line communication.
Mhm.
Is that a wild thought? Am I like,
No, I mean,
I'm sick. I'm like fever dreams right now.
Girl.
yeah, I mean, also, deities, we've sort of established, Cara learned a little bit about how deities sort of function. It's like they can't really come to the material plane
Yeah.
directly. They have to work in mysterious ways, right?
Sure.
So, like, the only time you talked to the Raven Queen, who actually isn't a true god,
Right.
the Raven Queen is not a god. She is a being that is trapped in another plane, and able to send you a small amount of power. So she has to work through very liminal ways. And then Moradin is now Kara's god, and Moradin had to come to her in the afterlife, and it wasn't the real version of him. He's like, this is only a small percentage of my power because I'm not allowed to be like here fully. That's why it was sort of, Cara became the avatar of Moradin for a bit, just as the Drow Matron Mother became an avatar of Lolth for a little bit, but they weren't truly there. So the gods don't have as much direct influence. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, a cleric opening himself to the cosmos and being like, help me, O gods, and then all of a sudden hundreds of gods were like, yes, and decided to give you this message. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, I think at this point, we need to go to that library and try to see if we can find out any information about who would have created kind of like this suit of armor vessel avatar thing. Because I think that's going to be our homeboy or girl who we need to reach out to at this point.
Yeah, if we can find, I mean, yeah, if that person still exists who made this, we need some schematics.
I can't wait for this study montage.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. So we all want to pack up and head to meet Isolde at the teleportation circle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
Arnidal's markedly fucking excited to have access to these arenas fucking library.
Oh, yes.
Even though it's a
Sexy.
stressful reason, she cannot contain her excitement.
Yeah. All the knowledge in the world is contained in Faelyn.
When we get there, we also, I'm sure, tell Isolde what chance spoke to us through dozens of gods.
Yeah. Yeah, and she absolutely, like, you all kind of arrive ready to go in the Arcane Tower, and you relay this to her, and she's like, well, yeah, it sounds like that symbol you keep seeing is our best lead on who this maker, this wizard is. If we can identify that, I think we'll have a lot of answers. So, are you ready to go?
Yep.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
roll.
And you all step up onto the platform. Valerius is there and, throws that big switch, and you all find yourself teleported somewhere else. So our teleporting song, teleporting, almost there.
Yeah, how did it
I can't remember now. We established last time there's a teleportation elevator song.
Beep, 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 beep,
And
beep.
then boom, you are somewhere else. In a very different place, in fact. Before you is this huge grand hall. That's all white marble stone with these gigantic banners, like in gilded gold thread, hanging all around you. As, again, you're just in this very, very grand room. And some of you, so Saye and Arnadel specifically, recognize this place because you've been in this palace before. In fact, you infiltrated it to help break Rem out of here not so long ago. Cara, you never actually saw the throne room. You were crawling around in the sewers.
Fighting alligators.
That sounds right.
But you are standing in this grand hall, except this time it is packed with people, lining both sides of the rows leading up to this large, throne dais area are Eladrin that you see all donned in these golden and white uniforms that are all bearing halberds and sort of not directly menacing towards you, but if you did something wrong, they would be there in an instant. Those kind of guards line the walls of this room. And at the very far end, there are two huge thrones, inappropriately large for medium-sized creatures. And both of them, one is ringed with the golden spires of a sun, and the other is the silvery spires of a moon. And sitting in the two seats are two people. One you have seen before, so you recognize Sarina Sariel II, as she sits there again in this all-white finery draped in jewels, and at her feet is a large white cat that you recognize to somebody that accompanied Mira. And then in the seat beside her is a man you have not seen, another Eladrin who, next to her sort of statuesque beauty, almost fades into the background. Sort of a plain-looking individual, sort of slumped loosely in the chair, but also bears this very regal sort of crown.
The human?
Eladrin.
He's also a ladder?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you appear all of a sudden here, and Isolde takes a quick scan around the room and then goes into this extremely deep, courteous bow.
All right, follow suit.
Yeah, I think we do our best to.
Mhm.
Well, didn't we take a crash course on etiquette?
Yeah, she
before?
gave you a crash course before you left to the grand tourney, so you can dredge this up from your memories.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you hear a do-do-do-do. You find yourselves in the presence of the father and mother of this land, the Sar and Sarina. Welcome to the court of Riordan and Sariel. And everybody politely claps around the room. And the Sarina issues, "Come forward, travelers."
I
do as I'm
stride
told.
regally forth.
Yep. And you have to walk along. It's that awkward amount of time where you are walking and trying to get there quickly, and they're not moving from their chairs, and all the guards are looking at you.
It's just a full audience for the arrival of the library.
Well, right now it's about, I would say, 20 guards, and then the two, so the Sar and Sarina, and then you have a few people who are standing around the backs of the thrones who might be advisors or lesser nobles. So there's probably around 50 people or so in this room. The hall could easily hold thousands. So
Oh, okay.
This is
I
pretty.
thought it was packed.
This is pretty meager.
Suddenly I feel underdressed. Maybe we should have changed
real.
before we got here.
Yeah. And you come before, and Isolde again repeats this bow. And the Tsarina stands. And as she does so, the Tsar next to her also stands. And everybody in the room kind of comes to attention. Cousin, it is good to have you once again at our royal court. And she holds her two hands out towards Isolde. And Isolde walks quickly up and takes the Tsarina's hands and like does another sort of bow. And then they kiss each other on both cheeks. And she turns back and sort of stands next to the Tsarina. And you all, representatives from the Sisters of Sorrow, it is an honor to have you amongst us.
The honor is ours. Another bow.
Yeah, bow
Thank you for
again.
welcoming us
All the
back.
bowing.
And she graciously nods. I know you must be weary from your travels. You are welcome to stay at our royal court as long as you would like. Accommodations have been provided for you. And the man kind of like takes a step forward. He's clearly about a foot shorter than her and kind of looks at you with these watery sort of blue eyes. Yes, you must join us for dinner this evening, honored guests. I have had so much news about what you have been doing. It would be delightful to speak to all of you further.
Insight check. Okay.
Cara looks awkwardly at the other three of them as like, what's this guy's deal?
I'm gonna tell you in just a moment, maybe. I rolled a 15 on my insight check.
Okay. So looking at him and the way he's handling this situation, it's like when you tried to get an insight reading on the Tsarina before. This is somebody who's clearly lived a long life of politics and been bred for exchanges like this. So he is as practiced as she is in the art of diplomacy. So you are not getting anything from him other than what he is presenting to you right now. I mean, he doesn't look great. He's sort of like a bland, unattractive sort of person, but he's clearly
Potato.
like, yeah, but he's dressed in the fineries she is. So
A shiny potato.
Yeah, potato covered in cheese.
I mean, if y'all want to do a history check as a refresher, and you can roll with advantage if you would like, since Isolde did kind of catch you up on the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Okay, I'll take dirty 20. Will probably give you everything you need. So political drama in the land of the plains. The Tsarina has been in power for hundreds of years at this point, which is actually a very short reign compared to the Eladrin live a very long time. She has gone through 3 husbands so far.
And they all died in mysterious circumstances.
Yes, the past 2 died in mysterious ways. This is the 3rd husband, Sar Riordan. You know that they recently married, so about 10, 20 years ago. It's very new. You know that there are 4 like ruling main dynasties in the family of the plains. He comes from the Tavir dynasty, which was the main competitor with the Mindaris dynasty, which was her family's dynasty. So many people are like, oh, this is clearly a marriage of like political
Well,
convenience.
you
Yeah,
wouldn't want
it's
him
not
to
it's
die.
not a love marriage.
And there's also the situation, too, that the Tsarina has not had any children, which is
Worrisome.
worrisome for some people.
And it has been alleged that she's had affairs and such with Captain Finn. Right?
Not Captain Finn.
No, Finn, no,
Duke
North
Ravain.
Point. Yeah, Duke Ravain. Yep.
Yes. it was alleged that they had a love affair. Yeah, so a lot of people basically whisper, they're like, well, the Tsarina is clearly in charge of everything, and this guy is just like a placeholder, sort of. Yep, clearly not a love-filled arrangement. So that's what you know about him. Yep.
Cool.
So he extends this invitation to you all.
Yeah.
It would be a privilege to speak to you about the comings and goings of the Sisters of Sorrow.
That is a gracious invitation, Sar Reardon. We would be glad to accept.
Wonderful. Well
Yeah.
then, show them to their rooms. I'm sure they would like to... He looks you up and down. Freshen up.
Yikes.
Damn, we spent 20 seconds in a teleportation hole, and he's like, y'all looking shitty.
I'm just gonna wait until I'm like out of eye shot of him and book it straight to the library.
Thank God Valerius is here.
He's not here.
Oh, I thought he
Azolda's, though.
transported us.
No,
and
he
went
was
with
like
us.
flipping the switch for you.
Oh.
And Isolde turns, we would all be honored to join you, cousin, this evening. We shall head to our rooms now, then perhaps we can discuss our business further. Indeed. If you would care to join me, I will be taking a stroll upon the royal grounds, if you are ready in time. You may
Sounds
go.
great.
Thank you for the invitation. We'll,
Yeah, and she sort of flicks a hand towards you all. And Isolde, like,
Exit.
bows, and then, steps
Yeah.
back, and then, like, kind of leads you all off in a direction away from the main room.
Mm-hmm.
Where immediately a swarm of servants depend upon you. And they, start leading you off down these long hallways. Again, Saye and Arnadel, it's very deja vu as you're leading through these hallways where you were distracting guards and getting through security last time you were here.
We had that sweet invisibility, and we definitely are probably trying very hard not to look like we know where we're going.
Yeah, well, right around now, so servants are flocking you in, like, big groups. So clearly you're being watched, like, as you're being led. And eventually they take you off a suite of the house, and they lead you to a set of 5 doors.
Are they all
Alright.
connected? Is it like a row of rooms?
Do you want to open the doors?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you open up the doors, inside is like the best hotel room you've ever seen. I don't know. Sorry, give me
Wow.
one thing that makes these rooms amazing.
Oh, furry carpet.
Yeah. Okay. So plush.
Didn't say jacuzzi tub.
Hang on,
Oh,
we're
that was what I
going
thought.
around. Don't worry. Plush, fuzzy carpets everywhere. Cara, something that makes them amazing.
There are pitchers of water that are shaped as golden swans, and they pour the water delicately out into the glass.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Arnadel, what's one thing?
You're
You're muted.
Oh no, I'm just far away from my
Oh.
microphone. I said fucking jacuzzi tub.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like we all know.
Yeah.
With running water from pipes, which is
Whoa.
amazing. And Farah, one more thing. Why are these rooms amazing?
Just the most like California king beds
Oh,
in every
yeah.
single one. The silk bedding, and
fit
instead of
6 people.
chocolates,
Yeah.
there's like fucking chocolate covered strawberries on
Yes.
little plates in the pillows.
Yes, absolutely. And the Eladrin like servants lead you up to these doors, and they sort of bow towards you all. If there is anything you need, just please. And they indicate like this bell that's been launched like by the walls of each of these doors. Just pull, and we will come running. Whatever you need, please.
So to not ring the bell needlessly, if you could get us some outfits for dinner tonight, because we have other things to do, that'd be great.
We can certainly try. Do you have your measurements available?
Oh yeah, Valerius gave them to me on a card. Hold on.
I think we should. Yeah, we could probably all drum that up.
Yep. All right.
Oh, and a coconut water.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, dinner will be served promptly at 5 p.m. So if you would like to tour, the grounds are available in this direction, or please enjoy the sights and sounds of the palace.
Thank you.
Early bird special.
Oh, it's
My
getting
God.
quieter and quieter.
Farah.
Wait, do you know what time the Sarina is going to be going out for her stroll in the gardens?
She usually takes an afternoon walk. So I would
At-
say in an hour or so. So
Okay.
let's say it's like 11 right now.
Mhm.
So you have like about 5
12:30.
hours towards dinner. Yeah. And like maybe like an hour if you want to meet the Sarina.
Yeah, we got lots of time to try and make our way over to the library first and
The
start.
servants
in our
aren't even
toes
out of
in
the
the water.
room. And sorry. Oh no, I was gonna say their servants aren't even out of the room, and she's gonna be like, got that jacuzzi tub running.
Booze.
There you go. Yeah, everyone replenish. I've noticed that teleporting really takes down your energy levels. You gotta bring up those electrolytes again. So take a rest,
Oh
take a
my God.
breather. Put on one of the robes. I see some really great robes in the closet over there.
yeah,
Oh
they're
my
I get the red
God,
one.
the best
fluffy.
robes.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can feel it.
You look like the Michelin Man, just like.
Yes. Yeah. And Isolde will, kind of chime in. We should definitely check in, I think, with Asarina before we head to these places. I don't know if the standard libraries are going to have what we're looking for, and she might have a means of getting us into the more interesting places.
Didn't she say we had like full reign as special guests?
We still probably have to ask for it. Exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it seemed, it read a little odd to you. I'll say, Arnadel, that she made a point to say, I'm going to be strolling in the gardens.
Yeah.
Is that-
She's like, if you want to talk,
yeah, that's like a wink.
get
Yeah.
your asses there. Don't miss this opportunity.
I think a lot of the
Something.
way she talks to us, particularly in front of her court, is very planned. And I assume these are the only ways we can have direct communication with her
Mhm.
without the pretense of, her position.
Yeah.
Isolde nods.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, I'm going to be leaving now. Does anybody want to walk with me to my car?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It
I'm asking
is,
for a good night kiss, asshole.
mhm. It is an unfortunate position she finds herself in. One of the many reasons I left life in Faelyn. It's not easy to do what she does every day.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't want that job. But if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna take a nap.
Isolde, I don't know if we've ever asked you this directly or at all. Are you and your cousin cool with each other?
I,
Like, you guys on a
Well-
good.
as of the great grand tourney, things have been surprisingly pleasant. Again, I don't bear my cousin ill will for what
Oh, no.
she has done. She has led the plains nobly in the time she's been here, and I admire her.
I'm asking, like, you have fond memories as children running around together. And I'm not asking about what type of distance that duty has caused you guys. I'm asking, like, in a pinch, can you hit your cousin up and like count on her as a cousin?
That is difficult. She has a nation to take care of first, and, well, relationships to take care of second. I'm sure you understand what I might mean.
Mm.
you sacrifice a lot when you're the emperor of the world.
That's pretty sad.
I certainly don't envy her. I chose love. But of course, that hasn't gotten me into such great places either. So,
Everything happens for a reason. You just gotta.
that is what my faith tells me.
I'm sure you'll find out why. I mean, right now things aren't looking so great, but I'm glad that even if unfortunately it hasn't turned out amazing in the love department, that it brought you to help us right now.
Yes. And I focus on that. Well, I am also going to eat those strawberries. They look amazing. And I'll meet you back out here in 45.
We'll be here.
Great.
You already hear Cara snoring loudly in the hallway.
Nap!
Shit, Sai, you want to trade rooms? Are you a sound sleeper?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. I'm just going to take the one at the end.
Yeah. All right. So you all get cozy. Yeah. The servants will come back a little bit later with your finery closer to dinner. So if you all want to like take the hour, then you want to meet back up in the hall. Sweet. And Isolde comes out and is like, well, to the grounds then. They're really quite something. Probably one of my favorite parts of the palace. And she starts leading you down these long, twisting series of hallways. Isolde seems wistful as she's walking around. You know, she's looking at things, and it just looks like she has a memory of, like, every crossroads, you know, every hallway, every painting. She'll kind of, like, trace her eyes over, and she's sighing a lot.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit Arnadelle was asking about. She's like,
having fond memories growing up in a place like this.
Yeah. You're not sure what the vibe is. Definitely, you know, she spent a lot of time here. And eventually she leads you towards sort of the central location, and you step out, and it's the series of like these open pillared area that now here it's this large rectangle where the sky is, you know, open, and there's some nice like manicured bushes and like benches, but it's very small. The only thing that's really remarkable is this like large marble gate sort of in the center. And Isolde is just striding towards this gate.
It's a very nice topiary.
Oh, it's I guess. She sort of looks back confused and then is heading towards this archway.
Keep on following her because she knows where she's going.
Yeah, and you see her as she steps under this archway, she disappears.
I was not expecting that.
You know,
Shit,
a heads
that's
up
fancy.
every once in a while goes a long way.
She's gone.
Cara, like, very just cautiously begins to stick her hand through it and inch by inch herself.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it the whole way through. It's almost like once your head passes through, all of a sudden, the world is different around you. And it's not that same feeling of like teleportation, like you're going through a circle. It's just more like passing through a curtain of mist for a moment. And like just on the other side, you look and you can step back and you're back in this like shitty little courtyard, and you look forward again and you just see rolling multicolored hills like stretch out in front of you. You see strange trees that like tower up towards the sky. You hear the call of exotic birds and beasts moving through these shapes. Somehow you know that there are 100 different living things like within, you know, feet of you as you look. It reminds you a lot of like when you went to the Feywild, actually. Like as you're looking at this sort of strangely like watercolor sky, up above you.
Yeah, Cara looks around and she's like, yeah, big white lion would definitely live here.
Yeah, and Isolde's waiting on the other side of this like slightly purple tinted grass, and she turns back. Oh, yes, it's a. I don't think it's actually part of the Feywild. It's more of a cultivated piece, but built to be similar.
Cara nods and pretends that she knew what any of that meant.
Are the rest of you following Cara through?
Yes.
Yeah. And you see
Mhm.
this incredible sight open up before you. It's
This is really fancy.
well, it's hard to find solace in such a populated town. It's a little piece of nature that I suppose great wealth and power can bring you.
Pretty cool.
Anyway,
Note to self: get wealthy and powerful.
Hey,
This is how I want to live.
marry a king.
yes.
Marry rich, everyone.
Moral of the story, podcast over.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Well, if I know my cousin, she'll be over this way, probably towards the stables. She
Are these
begins-
going to be magical horses? Or are they just part of the illusion?
Oh, this is not an illusion, per se. Again, the veil between this world and the Feywild is extremely thin. This is sort of a... think of it as maybe a wildlife preserve, might be the
Like that
closest.
roped off section in a lagoon where you can still swim with dolphins and they can go out to see if they want.
Sort of, yes, a sort of cultivated piece of the Feywild. You are certainly not going to find horses here. And as she's like walking down this grassy knoll, and now that you're like on the other side of this gate that's just standing on top of a hill, no building or anything around it, just an open gate. She leads you this way, and you begin to see like a building off in the distance, walking towards. And you see that there are a myriad of different creatures that are just grazing around this building, and most of them are indescribable towards common animals you would see. The largest one, the one that probably catches your attention first, it looks as if like a stump had like grown legs, and like it has all of these like moss bits hanging off of it, and these two like towering antlers like jutting at different angles, and this like long lion-esque tail that's sort of like just stationed there, like outside of this building. And you see other things that look like large insects, like perched on the roof of this place, or animals like with fur and feathers, and just these strange amalgamation of creatures perched around this building.
Kara's muttering to herself, I wonder if I can find a goat walrus here. A wall goat. A goat wrist.
The goat wrist. Roll me a perception check.
A noble creature.
Truly. A 17.
Cara, as you look and crest this final ridge, you see the most glorious creature you've ever seen in your life, grazing, currently munching on a patch of grass. It's just staring at you. Please describe to me what this creature looks like.
Oh my god. So the front half of it, it's like front two legs or goat legs that lead into this big walrus body. And the head of it is a goat, but it has two huge walrus tusks jutting out of its mouth, and these big horns that swirl up and curl the other way.
How did you know this was here?
And and it's just like lazily chopping on grass, and it's got the weird sideways eyes, and Cara immediately, like, her arms just involuntarily float up before her, and she just starts wandering.
Yeah, and you see that currently, like, brushing the little, like, baby hairs, like, on its back section. You recognize Mira is standing there just in very plain sort of riding clothes. And you see that Orion, the flying lion, is currently rolling in the grass, sort of doing, like, that dog thing where it's, like, itching its shoulders. Yeah, it's, like, next to it. And as you're like, yeah, climbing up the hill, and Kara's like locked eyes with this beautiful creature, she gives a wave towards all of you.
I think Cara might have found her spirit animal.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, this is my familiar.
I don't know how to feel about it.
I demand fan art.
I need it. No questions asked. Yeah, so Mira gives you all a wave and is like, hey, wow, thank you all for coming. What do you think of the castle so far? She's like, again, brushing those little baby hairs like on the walrus flank.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, staring at Arnadell.
Yeah, it's something.
Kara's now hugging it. Just like, this is the happiest she's ever been in her whole life.
Yeah. And these creatures are all like clearly very used to being around people, so it like just breathes like very patiently, like as you're holding it. It like kind of looks at you with its goat head. Meh.
My fucking God.
Oh my god.
Mira's like, I think it actually likes you.
Kara's like almost ready to cry because this is just the most absurd, beautiful thing. And she's just like all of her sorrows just like melting into its warm golden fur. She just like pats it slowly. I like it too.
Meh. Yeah.
Farrah's just speechless. She's nothing to say right now. She just kind of nods with her hand over covering her mouth, and she's like,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So I know we don't have a lot of time before dinner, but I did want to make sure you could do what you came here for. So here's this. And she reaches into a bag that's close to the ground by where Orion is, and she hands you a envelope that's like sealed with this extremely elaborate sigil. Present this. You're going to want to go to the Wizard's Tower. It's just off of the university campus. This should get you into the private collection. I think what you're looking for might be there.
Thank you. This will definitely be helpful. Does anybody else know why we're here other than you?
You are emissaries from a new part of the plains. We are doing you the honor of hosting you. And that is all people need to know.
Okay. So we should probably
Maybe not make a spectacle of going to the Wizard's Tower.
That
Yeah.
would be best. There are...
Can't hear you, Celeste.
Oh,
muted. Or you're real quiet.
yeah. That would be best. There are many eyes out there and many people that might not agree with my decision to help you. Especially Reardon.
Yeah, he seemed a little awkward at that introduction there. With a lot.
I will not speak ill of the Tsar. He is the ruler of this land.
Oh,
She
for sure.
looks at you with flat eyes.
Noted. All right. Is he somebody that we can trust in the same way as we can trust you? Would you say?
I am merely a humble servant of the Tsarina. Looks at you with flat eyes again.
Okay.
I wouldn't put your trust in anyone too carefully. This is a beautiful, beautiful prison full of those who would wish to do you harm. And you may never know it. So be careful.
Well,
What time do you recommend we head over to the library?
As soon as possible. You are expected back for an evening meal. And people will notice if you are not there.
All right.
and we will be there.
Wonderful. There is a attendant named Jem who works there. Speak with her. She is incredibly helpful.
Got it.
Yes. So, go and enjoy our fine city. I hope it brings you comfort and wisdom.
Me too.
Thank you. Bow away.
Bow and leave.
Yeah, and Isolde is, again, just... She's been looking very troubled at Mira. If you all don't mind, I might stay. And she kind of gives you a meaningful look, then looks back at Mira, who's like sort of sadly brushing this walrus once again.
No, go for it. We got this. I think that we can manage to not get into trouble for an hour.
I would certainly hope so.
All right, bye.
I'll see you back in time for dinner. Yes?
Yes, right on time.
Cara calls back as they're walking away. Goodbye, Timothy.
Ah! All right. Sweet. So, do we want to head off into the city of Faelyn?
Yes, let us do it.
Yes, one short day. All right. So, you make your way out of the palace, and I think Farah has probably been here at least once or twice in her life as well. Like this is sort of like the New York City, or like the capital of the plains. Yeah, so you're making your way again. Everybody else got to very briefly visit here. Again, this city is just this advanced, gleaming spread of just tall buildings that stretch up into the sky, golds and silvers, like domes across the street. All the cities are well laid out and paved, and public parks, like every 3 blocks. It's just amazing. And you're seeing this huge, like, wealth of different people wandering through the streets. And you definitely make your way from the Palace District over towards the University District here. And last time you were here, you went to a very squat, ugly building called the Archives. But not this time. You're traveling to the adjacent Wizard Towers, which Farah would know. There's a lot of different arcane schools. And basically, they employ famous wizards to sort of come in like professors and like study and live on sabbaticals in these towers. So as you approach them, you see these spires stretching high into the sky. Again, these like scintillating colors and just these remarkable feats of architecture stretch up before you as you make your way towards the Wizard Towers. And you get into the main courtyard and sort of the main entryway. You see these beautiful doors carved with all of these arcane sigils in the Sylvan language, just for welcome and mindfulness and intelligence carving on the doors. And they are open to you. Would you like to step inside?
But of
Ooh,
course.
Yes.
So magical.
Oh. And as you do so, you come into a very, very large chamber. You see that there is a long circular desk immediately in front of you, but beyond that, this room is a giant library. of sorts. You see that there are these like huge curved bookshelves. The whole room is sort of built like a globe, and you see this very, very large skylight above everything, that this natural light is flooding down onto all of these rows of books here, gleaming down onto this circular desk. And you see that there are several doorways that lead off into other places, clearly leading into the much larger towers behind it. And sitting at this desk is a female. As she's sitting before you, at first glance, she looks like a female Eladrin, maybe in her late teens, early 20s. But as you look closer at her, her skin has this very strange ashen quality, almost like she's made of paper. And she looks up at you and she says, "Welcome to the Wizard's Tower. How can I help?"
Oh.
Looking
Hi.
for Gem.
Oh, well then you're in luck. That's me.
Tight. We've been looking for you.
Oh, well, what can I help you with?
We have an envelope that we should present to you.
All right. And she
Presented.
and she reaches out, and as you see, she stretches out her hands. Again, it just doesn't look quite right, it seems, and her hands make like sort of a crinkling sound as she like takes this piece of paper, and she looks at it. She's
Weird.
"Oh, this is a," and she looks back up at all of you and kind of like gives you a weird eyebrow raise, and then like looks down and like breaks the seal on the paper and like starts to unfold the note. She's like,
We're on official business here as emissaries of the Sisters of Sorrow, and we have, of course, been given permission as now part of the planes to use these resources.
This is highly irregular that, not to be impolite, non-wizards would be allowed
well-
to see the rare collection. This is...
The Tsarina said you were the one person that we should speak to, as you were the most what's the word? I don't want to say competent, because that sounds like not
Well,
you were the best, the most helpful person that we could possibly find to talk to.
That is very kind of her to call me both a person and helpful. And she looks again like at the note, and she kind of raises it like towards the sunlight. And her eyes go very, very flat for a moment. Like her pupils disappear, and again, it's just like that sheer texture of parchment, as she's like looking at this page up against the light. This...
Can you make an Arcana check for what the heck this lady is about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Arnadell, Cara leans over to Arnadell. What's up with this?
Ooh, got a 16.
I would roll 2
Mhm.
in response to that, but I think
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
gonna say the same thing as Farah.
Yeah. So Farah, you have heard, you've never seen this, but sometimes in like the libraries of Faelyn, or particularly like high-ranking museums or things like that, they might have specific constructs that are built to maintain these places or are tied to these places. So this person before you might be what is known as a living spell book.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Whoa.
So this is when like master wizards like will imbue an object to basically like help run a place. So you've only heard of these things, but you know this is some of the technology that's available to the wizards of Faelyn.
Oh, damn, that's really cool.
But she looks
right.
like a person.
Yes, unless you look at her too closely. And then it's like her
Weird.
skin is made of paper.
Just like me
mhm.
in real life.
On paper. So she looks, well, this is absolutely authentic, and I would be more than happy to accommodate any of your requests. So I see here you would wish to visit the rare collection?
Yes, we're researching a very important topic.
Oh, all right. Well, we do have the rarest and oldest books in the land, so if this pertains to your issue, I'm sure you will find your answers there. Please. And she stands up, and again, it's with that jerky motion that's like not quite human, but almost. She stands up from the desk, and if you will come with me,
We follow.
yeah. And she leads you up the double steps towards a door beyond. This building is quite an interesting one. Would you care to know anything about the history of this place, or shall I just take you directly to the archives?
Oh yeah, Cara would definitely be looking at the architecture and how it's built, and yeah, because she is trained as a mason, and yes, would be like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, I would love to hear more.
Yeah, when you express an iota of interest, Jem launches immediately into this very rehearsed, clearly monologue. So maybe she's the one who gives tours of this building very frequently.
For sure.
She's like, this is known as the Wizard's Tower. All the wizards that we have in residence teaching at the academy are welcome to stay here for a time. We have a variety of laboratories, clean rooms, perfectly safe rooms for arcane experimentation housed in this building. Of course, those are on the higher levels, since we do not want to damage all the other treasures that we have available. As we move on here, and you're going like up through the stairs, in this room, and you look, it's this giant circular chamber that is just aglow with this like deep, vibrant purple. And you see that there is railing around this massive pit in the center of the room. And you see that there are these like velvet chairs that have been placed around the edges of the room. And some of them are occupied by very, very old looking wizards who are sitting like in the room, sort of staring down into this pit. And as you lead by, Jem is like, please take a view. This is known as the Spell Well. This is one of our amazing innovations that we have here. Deep in this pit is some of the purest forms of arcane power and access to a wealth of spells and knowledge. Some of our greater mages will come here to restore, to replenish, or to perhaps share their knowledge as they increase their spellcasting ability.
Cara is visibly freaked out.
Yeah, all of that glowing stuff down there, that's magic. Just in its rawest form. Isn't that amazing?
Cara
So amazing.
backs away slowly.
I can understand how you might feel that way. And she like smiles and nods like she's talking to a much larger group.
I love her. Oh my god, I'm cheesing so hard.
Please, but continue on this way. And she leads you through the rest of this like spellwell room. And you come to this long hallway of doors. Now, before I take you down into the private collections, has the Tsarina spoken to you about Kratos?
No.
Nope.
What is that?
Okay, there are a few things you should know before you descend into our private collection. One, the room is kept at optimal conditions because some of the books in there are thousands of years old and quite fragile. So there is no air in this room. There is also no light in this room in order to better preserve the books. You will be equipped with a way to breathe and see while you are enjoying your time in the private collection. Kratos is the staff member who manages the library. In fact, he has been with the library since its origination over 5,000 years ago.
What? That's what?
More
That's so
details,
long.
please.
Kratos is not what you might expect, so please do not be off-put by his appearance. We ask that while you are in the private collections, that you do nothing to harm the books, because Kratos will destroy you if you do so. So as you step inside the private collection, you are acknowledging that these books are the highest priority in terms of safety, and that Kratos is responsible for maintaining their safety. I need you all to verbally agree that you have heard and acknowledge that.
I
I
agree.
I accept these terms and conditions.
Wonderful. And like as this tour has happened, she has stopped now in front of these big set of double doors that have sort of this like white cushiony material like locked around the doors. And the doors themselves appear to be made of steel that is like spliced together. Now that you have heard and acknowledged all of the rules of the private collection, I am allowed to let you inside. Please, if you wouldn't mind, I actually have a personal favor to ask. This book is meant to be returned to collections. And she like reaches into this like she's had like a little Jansport that she's been like kind of holding. And she gives you this book that's like wrapped in this very weird sort of transparent material. It's not like cloth. It's like sort of hard and crinkly to the touch. And she hands it off to you, this big bound volume. I do not really like going down into the private collection, so I would really appreciate this if you would return this to Kratos for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have to wear like gloves to handle this? I'm nervous now. You got me nervous, Jem.
You should be nervous.
Oh.
And she goes and she taps.
Arnold's gonna pick it up and like, she's like, I got this.
Yeah, you take this
Okay.
like thick tome, and as you look at it, I mean, this thing is clearly wrapped in some kind of like animal skin. This book looks like 1,000 years old, like as you're holding it, sort of like indecipherable writing on its cover. And she goes and she touches like a invisible panel on the wall, and the doors like slide open. Once you step inside, please equip yourselves with the appropriate helmets, and then descend further into the private collection. Enjoy your stay. I will be waiting here right outside. Just touch the panel when you are ready to emerge.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jem.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you today. Enjoy.
What is the breathing apparatus that we have?
So as you like step into this, the doors open up here as Jem is holding their hand on this panel, and you see there is a much smaller room in here. And mounted on the walls on these series of pegs look like those like old school like divers helmets that are basically like giant fish bowls.
Big diving
that
bells.
have sort of these like seals that go down around like your neck and shoulders. And there are a bunch of these mounted on the walls.
I put one on.
Yeah.
You look real cool.
Yeah, as you do so, you put the fishbowl on your head and you feel it like arcanely seal and fit perfectly like around your shoulders. And you see there's this very hazy film around, so it's like you're looking through a cloud of smoke at everybody.
Weird.
I'll
Okay.
take the next one.
Yeah.
So and then the light source.
And Jem calls, "The helmets will provide for you. Just please all put on your helmets, and then I can open the entry doors."
Arnold has a quick question before they go with Jem. She's like,
Mhm.
do you guys do like standard cataloging, or do you have your own particular system?
You will have to speak to Kratos about that.
Oh,
They are very particular.
sure. She
All right.
Arnold's like, that makes sense.
And
Like,
she is waiting with immeasurable patience for you all to put on your helmets.
Yeah, mine's on.
Okay. Arnett, do you put yours on?
yeah, that was like right away.
Yeah, and she waves and touches her hand off the panel, and these doors close. An identical set of doors open on the far side, and you see completely dark stairwell leading downwards.
Onwards.
Ha-ha!
Let's go learn.
Yeah. And as you're like kind of, navigating like these giant glass jars on your heads and like trying to like walk down into the darkness, and the doors close behind you and you're left in total darkness, you see that your vision slowly begins to return to you. So you're not looking in just like black and white as you would be in normal dark vision. Like the helmet seemed to change and that smoky quality goes away. So it's like you can see in perfect darkness here, and a clean flow of air is coming up for you're not really sure what the source is. There's no like pack or anything, so it must be some kind of enchantment on these helmets. And you make your way down into this lobby space, of an area. It looks, if the lights were on, like your standard sort of old, like, Earth library. There's like a long desk there, and you see like tomes laid out neatly with like pens and pencils that have been lined up just so. And then these rows and rows of stacks stretching out in front of you. You see lots of glass cases are ringing the rooms of books that have been like set aside and propped up on pedestals. And as you're taking all of this in, it's so quiet in this library. So the first time you hear a sound, it's almost startling as you hear something coming down this main thoroughfare. You hear like a scraping and a dragging sound as something is making its way towards you.
It's probably Kratos.
Hello, Kratos?
You hear it. And like this scraping continues, and you see this horrific creature makes its way out from around one of the volumes as you see a skeletal hand that's been wrapped in like these stained linens puts its hand on the edge of a case, and you see the emaciated form of like a skullish body. It looks like a mummy that's comes around the corner of this place, and it says, "Yes. Welcome to my library." And I think that's where we're going to end the session for today.
Oh my god, I half expected it to be like Vlad come around the corner.
Right.
Could you
I tricked
imagine?
you.
Madam.
Oh
Not
my
just
god.
a mummy. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for the second episode of the evening of Venture Maidens. Of course, you won't know that when you listen to this as a podcast. So it was so great having you. You're great. This is the last episode of 2019, so hope you enjoyed it. You all are great, and I have been your dungeon master, Celeste Conowitch.
I've been your Moon Elf Warlock, Arnadel, played by Brittany.
I have been your tiefling sorceress, Faelyn, and I'm Katie.
And I'm Nassim. I've been your human monk, Sayanor. Happy New Year.
Yes.
And I am Sage, and I have been your curious barbarian, or Brunhilde.
I've been. Who am I?
Who am I today?
Thank you all so much for hanging out in chat, for donating, for everything. If you love our show, or if you just like it, even just a little bit, there are a lot of different ways you can support us. Please, please, please give us a follow on social media for all the latest updates of what's happening with the show. So that's Twitter at Venture Maidens, Instagram at Venture Maidens, and on Facebook at, you guessed it, Venture Maidens. You can
No
also
way.
what? You can also support us with a monthly donation on Patreon for as little as $12 a year. So that's $1 a month. You can get access to an entirely other podcast we do that is DM'd by Sage as we play through Descent into Avernus, which is this stream we do on alternating Wednesdays here on the channel. So $12 a month. That's like a fancy burrito, we've determined. So please go to patreon.com/venturemaidens and get a bunch of awesome bonus content. Thank you all for sticking with us for 3-4 years now. We love you. We have a lot of great stuff coming in 2020, and so excited to be here, and we love you all, and you're amazing.
Yeah,
You're amazing. But I know we've all been playing a long time, so I think we should sign off. So until next time,
Venture
away!
Venture away!
2020, baby! Wow! Yeah! All right.